Barcelona's new top striker. United are closing in on Baleba. Tottenham are eyeing 2 City outcasts. And Jong could be on his way out. 200 likes on this video, and the new episode drops tomorrow. Hit that like button and let's get straight into it. Victor Gyökeres is knocking on Barcelona's door every single morning. That's the reality of it. The Swedish striker, according to Victor Navarro over at Cope, is offering himself to the Catalan club on a daily basis, pushing his people to make something happen. And after the summer Barcelona have had, you can sort of understand why he thinks there's an opening. Their hunt for a proper number 9 has gone from ambitious to genuinely desperate. Lewandowski's gone. Ferran Torres is gone. Hansi Flick wanted Julian Alvarez above all else, but Atletico Madrid simply refused to sell. They told Barcelona again on Tuesday that Miguel Angel Gil-Marin isn't budging. Full stop. So now they're pivoting. Lautaro Martinez at Inter has become the new priority, but Gyökeres' camp senses the gap and they're forcing their way into the conversation. And look, the Arsenal side of this makes sense if you dig into it. Gyökeres arrived last July for a club record 55 million quid. On paper, his first season was a success. Premier League title, top scorer, 21 goals in 55 appearances across all competitions. Solid. But underneath all that silverware, there's a real frustration simmering. 14 Premier League goals in 36 games is fine, but Arteta kept going to Havertz for the really big occasions. The Champions League final? Gyökeres on the bench. That stings. You don't sign a £55 million striker to warm the seat in your biggest match. And I think that lack of undisputed status is what's driving this. So the player's motivation to leave after just one season is clear. The question is whether Arsenal actually engage. They don't have to sell. He's under contract until 2030. He's part of their squad depth, and they hold all the leverage here. But when a player is actively offering himself around, and Flick is demanding a proven goalscorer to lead his line, Barcelona might decide to test Arsenal's resolve with an opening bid. There's been tentative interest floated not too long ago. Whether that translates into a formal proposal is another matter entirely, but Gyökeres isn't waiting around to find out. He's making his intentions known, loud and clear, every single day. The 5 o'clock deadline has come and gone, and the price has already moved. That's where the Enzo Fernandez situation stands right now. Chelsea set a firm cutoff last Friday for written offers of £120 million. Nobody bit, and now the terms have shifted beneath everyone's feet. Enzo Maresca wants this player. There's no ambiguity there. They work together at Chelsea. He knows exactly what Fernandez brings, and City are in the middle of rebuilding their engine room. Fernandez is the priority. But here's the problem. Chelsea's self-imposed deadline was designed to draw a line, and City didn't meet it. They didn't get their bid in on time. And in that window of hesitation, the goalposts moved. Xabi Alonso has reportedly added another 20 million to the valuation, taking the figure to 140 million. That's not a negotiation tactic. That's a deterrent. TalkSport are reporting that City intend to submit a bid regardless, that they're preparing to test Chelsea's resolve. City sources apparently believe the Blues could still be open to selling, that the deadline passing doesn't necessarily mean the door is bolted shut, but Chelsea's working assumption internally is that Fernandez stays. They're planning next season with him in the squad, so you've got this odd disconnect where City think there's a conversation to be had, and Chelsea are operating as if there isn't one. And here's the thing that makes me skeptical. City have no intention of paying 120 million, let alone 140. They see that figure as excessive for a midfielder, however talented, and Chelsea, having set their price at 120 initially, aren't going to accept a penny less now. If anything, the leverage has swung further towards Chelsea because City missed their window. The moment has passed. So, is any City bid doomed? I think probably yes. The economics don't align. The timing's gone. Unless Chelsea suddenly decide they need to liquidate a major asset before the window shuts, Fernandes is staying at Stamford Bridge. City may well have to shift their attention elsewhere. Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Manchester United return to the negotiating table, and they're confident of getting this done. Carlos Baleba to Old Trafford, third midfield signing of the summer, and after a month where it felt like the whole operation had gone quiet, United have suddenly sprung back to life. The numbers are still being worked through. United's opening bid of 60 million plus 5 in add-ons was knocked back by Brighton. That was always going to be the case. But all sources are aligned on this one. The deal will get done. United are preparing to go back in with what they hope is a decisive second offer, and the final figure is expected to land somewhere around 70 million quid. Brighton's initial valuation was in the region of 100 million, which United viewed as excessive, but the admiration for the player never went away. And that's the key thing here. United carried out extensive work on Baleba, on and off the pitch. The reports fed back to Wilcox and the wider recruitment team were glowing, not just the football, which is obvious. The 22-year-old had a difficult campaign last season. Injury problems played a part in that, but his defensive output in the Premier League was still standout. It's his demeanor, his personality, the way he carries himself. That's what convinced United this is the right fit for the project. Personal terms are fully agreed. Florian Plettenberg at Sky Sports confirms the deal with the player, and his agents is done and dusted. Baleba has been pushing and pushing to get this move over the line. His dream is clear, and Carrick's developed an excellent working relationship with Wilcox since arriving, so the recruitment process has been tightly coordinated from the start. You can tell this one's been mapped out properly. Now, what this means practically is that Ineos's midfield revamp is essentially complete. Santos, Tielemans, Baleba, 3 signings, 3 different profiles. But the summer isn't finished. United still need to address 2 more positions. A left-back is almost guaranteed, and then a striker, but only if Xerxes leaves. So, potentially 2 more through the door before the window closes. But in terms of the engine room, if Baleba gets over the line today, that's the job done. And for a squad that desperately needed an out-of-possession presence, Baleba is exactly that. 150 million pounds. That's the figure being talked about for Tottenham to prize both Savinho and Omar Marmoush away from Manchester City. A double deal right at the death of the window, and David Ornstein is reporting that talks between the clubs are progressing smoothly. They're in advanced stages. Now, City were initially reluctant to sell Marmoush to Spurs. They felt short of quality options up top and didn't want to strengthen a rival. But the reality has shifted. Both players are surplus to requirements at the Etihad. It's been apparent all summer. Savinho managed 7 Premier League starts last season. Marmoush, their £59 million signing from Frankfurt, fell out of favour under Guardiola and managed 8 goals in 36 appearances. Neither is getting the minutes they need. Maresca's been straight about it. Both players are entitled to stay and fight for their place. But if they want first-team football and it's not guaranteed, the club won't stand in their way if the offer is right. And that's the position now. City are prepared to sanction both departures if Spurs meet their price, because the hierarchy wants to generate capital to bolster their own midfield before the deadline. Spurs aren't stopping there either. Reports suggest De Zerbi's side are also plotting a move for Cody Gakpo at Liverpool. If they pull off all 3 before September the 1st, you'd struggle to argue this wasn't a perfect window for Tottenham. A full rebuild in one window, exclusively Premier League proven players. That's the ambition, and they're right to swing for it. A muted reception at the Joan Gamper Trophy. That's where Frankie de Jong stands with a section of the Barcelona support right now. Despite recently signing a contract extension until 2029, and according to Sport, his situation could get more complicated before this window shuts. The issue is twofold. First, the midfield is stacked. Rodri's arrived. Marc Bernal's developing. There are options everywhere, and De Jong's minutes are going to be harder to come by. Second, there's the knee. He's opted against surgery. He's convinced conservative treatment will work, and he's determined to fight his way back into the starting 11. But the uncertainty around his fitness is there, and it's coloring everything. Juventus are watching closely. The knee problem isn't necessarily viewed as a deal breaker by interested clubs. They see a player who can still make a major impact if he's right, and a loan could be the route out. Barcelona might consider letting another club take De Jong until the end of the season, cover his wages, with an option to make it permanent. It gives him football, it reduces Barcelona's wage bill, and everyone gets breathing room. Whether it actually materializes is another question, but the conversation is happening.